It all started at ECYB. 14 21st century boys gave baseball a try. They all rose to the top of their respective teams and greeted each other in competition. 4 Seals, 3 Oaks, 3 Padres, 2 Expos, a Lion, a Bobcat, and a Bear, oh my, were all ranked at one time or another as ECYB All-Stars at Memorial Day and a few other hastily thrown together summer tournaments. In 2009, after winning the Pinto Division with his Seals, Mike DeMay took on one of those summer all-star teams where a handful of future Hornets would have an opportunity to play together for the first time. About this time, Mike was also elected to the ECYB board, giving back to the organization he himself had participated in as a young player. While in ECYB, Mike excelled at third base and pitching, which he continued through his tenure at St. Mary's High School. At age 13, his hitting average was a reported .420. Meanwhile, 75 miles away in Stockton, David Rossi was being coached by his father, an outfielder for the Braves in the Sunset Little League. He renewed his vow with baseball at ECYB. After coaching the Seals, David continued his partnership with Mike by managing the Rockies and then the Rangers. He is very good at identifying talent and developing lineups and strategy. Bruce Kylene started playing baseball as a boy in New Jersey in blue jeans. Although he later played lacrosse at Carnegie Mellon, baseball kept calling him back. Before having children, he coached a baseball team in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and enjoyed it. Years later, he coached the Padres, Angels, and Mud Hens in the ECYB League. Always 5 steps ahead of the tournament directors, Bruce is an expert of predicting and determining standings and strategies. Scott Whitney was a competitive swimmer and kayaker, but his baseball background consisted of 1 season in Little League as an outfielder at age 10, which both frustrated him and led him to get prescription eyeglasses. He also spent a summer as an announcer and scorekeeper at his local field in upstate New York. He fell in love with the sport through his son and coached the Phillies and the Mud Hens and joined Mike and David on the ECYB board. The 4 of them got together and hatched a plan. Despite its simplicity, it was quite controversial. If they could select a cohesive group of talented and coachable players that could play together long term, they could provide a more rewarding experience for all of them. The original Hornets lineup was selected in early 2011. It was a new level of play at 10U, but the Hornets hung in there and showed some serious promise. One of the highlights was taking second in the San Anselmo tournament with an epic game against Albany. A few of the younger Hornets stayed with ECYB and dominated in Mustang. A season of 11U was started and a couple players were added to our roster without our coach's selection by ECYB. By the end of the 2012 season, ECYB was not happy with the direction and selection techniques of the Hornets, and there was a parting of ways. The Hornets shifted to be more of a competitive travel team as opposed to a recreational selection team. The Hornets continued to grow and develop as competitive players in 2013. They won a championship in Fremont in the Silver Division and developed a name for themselves against the Morgan Hill Thunder and the Fremont Reds. In 2013, Lucas and Liam returned to the Hornets. The Hornets picked up Aiden Bradley for a few games and later Aiden Ferguson. This brings us to the 2014 lineup, the best yet. The Hornets started the 4th and final season with 4 talented additions who fit in perfectly. Aiden Ferguson officially joined the team this year, though it's hard to imagine the team without him now. He always brought energy and intensity to the field. After the second clinic, Coach Nichols told Aiden he really liked the way he played. Aiden made several nice plays in the field, executed some nice hit and runs, and always had a plan on the base paths. Enzo Spremich also joined the Hornets this year and led the season in hits by pitch, 6. Had a batting average of .296, the second best on-base percentage of .424, and the most runs scored on the team at 20. He struck out only 5 times in 66 plate appearances. Tyler Irwin also joined the team this year after recovering from hand surgery. He was another difference maker on defense and in attitude and hustle. Ty played any position asked, including shortstop, third base, second base, center field, left field, and pitcher, and he played all of them well. Ty is also a very good base runner and loved putting pressure on the defense. Wilfred Terrell joined the Hornets after being away from baseball for 2 years and recovering from a serious knee injury. His absence from the game was not noticeable by his performance. He had 8 singles and several clutch catches, including a game-ending catch in right field. Wilfred really started coming on in the last couple of tournaments. In the second-to-last tournament, he got our first hit off Betancourt. By the last tournament, he was in the starting 10 and recorded a hit in every game. Connor Robertson, a veteran Hornet, made a lasting mark with his deep splits at first base, his signature smile, and an awe-inspiring Fremont tournament where he hit .500. Both times the Hornets won championships, Connor provided key doubles in play in the semifinals and the championship. And in 2014, for the Hornets, Seaweed even became a pitcher. Isaac Wolt, one of the original Hornets, also overcame some bad injuries each of the past 2 seasons.
Hustle.
Nonetheless, he had a .406 on-base percentage and 5 singles this season. He showed a lot of progress at the end of the season and developed into the best blocking catcher on the team. Isaac never gave up and turned in solid efforts consistently. Jacob Rossi spent the last 4 seasons making spectacular outs in center field and amazingly making more than one put out at first base from center field. He led the team in singles this season at 15 and had a .290 batting average. Jacob had the Hornets' record for fewest pitches in an inning, 4 against the heart of the Morgan Hill Thunder's lineup.
You're the only one? Yeah!
Hustle.
Right, yeah, you're there, you're there! Right. Yeah, nice! Oh, yeah! Yeah!
Liam Hadovic, another veteran Hornet, played well at second base and in the outfield. He put the ball in play for half of his at-bats. Although he left partway through this last season, he will always be remembered as a Hornet. From the beginning, Lucas Mendoza has always been a phenomenal outfielder. This season, he had a .403 on-base percentage, which included 9 singles, 5 doubles, and a triple. One of his memorable moments was a heroic comeback immediately after an injury in right field. Right after the injury, he made the very next out in a championship game. Nicholas DeMay was a popular teammate from year one, who always kept things loose in the dugout. One moment that will not soon be forgotten was his home run in Millbrae. This season, Nick made some nice plays at third base, put 28 balls in play, and struck out the side against Morgan Hill. Noah Hadovic has been a dominant force on the Hornets since the beginning. He hit 8 triples this season, and his .369 average led the team. Noah was the #1 catcher and gunned down a pair of base runners in the hotly contested game against the ECYB Gold Rush. He was also on the hill for both Hornet championship victories. Sasha Milton has provided 4 years of excitement to Hornets fans. He blew us away when he pitched a no-hitter and had 12 singles, 11 doubles, and a triple this season. His .348 batting average and .423 on-base percentages were both among the highest on the team. An anchor on the left side, Sasha played great in left field, third base, and even some shortstop. Sawyer Whitney has shown versatility, playing every single position over the last 4 years. This year he stood out at shortstop and as a backup catcher. In one Hornets game, he pitched 9 strikeouts in a row over 3 innings. Sawyer developed into a great hitter this year and put several hard shots in play at crucial times. He finished the season with a .309 batting average and team-high .427 on-base percentage. Tayo Kylene kept the opposing hitters off balance by mixing up his pitches. Early on, he used location and a changeup, but he developed his curveball over the past 2 seasons. Tayo also kept the opposing pitchers off balance by switch hitting. His hitting started coming on by the end of the year, and he got a nice hit off Betancourt. A very good base runner, Tayo finished the season with a .418 on-base percentage and led the team in walks with 18. Throughout the last 4 seasons, baseball has brought the Hornets to over 30 tournaments in cities we may not have otherwise visited, including
Woodland, Turlock, Galt, Manteca, Fremont, Martinez, Millbrae, San Bruno, Sunnyvale, San Anselmo, Piedmont, Alameda, Tracy, Brentwood, and Vacaville.
Despite the accomplishments of these players as individuals, all of the Hornets' wins were team efforts, and all of the Hornets' losses were as a team. The chemistry and support the teammates showed each other has taught them a parallel set of skills that will follow them throughout their lives. The effects are visible in their body language and their genuine smiles. When you come across parents of other Hornets or your coaches throughout your life, and they stare at you with a look of pride, like your relatives do, keep in mind that they have watched and watched in awe as you transformed from boys into men through the sport of baseball. Over the years, we've seen the fields grow in size and the boys grow physically and mentally. It's been a great experience that I'm sure they'll remember throughout their lives.
I was born in September, and like everything I can't remember, I replaced it with scenes from a film that I will never make. And I blinked, it was over. I was thinking my life would get slower, that I would sort this shit out when I'm sober.
It's just a small thing.
I just called to tell you, I just called to say, learn all your mistakes. You were my inspiration, and it wasn't all we hoped for. We shake it off when we say, here's your yellow ribbon, I am your consolation. I was born in September.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
This place, every goddamn day.
You have made your way into their hearts, and they look forward to cheering you on in the next innings of your lives. And they want to see and hear about it when you make it onto your high school, college, or pro teams.
I was born in September, and like everything I can't remember, I replaced it with scenes from a film that I will never make. And I blinked.
Oh, yeah!